I would like to hear something about Yelenę Obrazcową, of course. Your first meeting and first impressions and so on.
Okay. Are you
Yes,
rolling?
yes, it's okay.
Okay, Martin. I first met Yelenę at the San Francisco Opera. I used to work at the San Francisco Opera, and I had just left and gone to the Met. And so that was my first vision of this fantastic, beautiful woman. And then I invited her to come to the Met. And in the first year, it was this legendary Aida. And of course, afterwards, we had her singing Samson, Ted, and so forth. That I'll never forget that first Aida when New York didn't know what to expect.
Yes, yes, I know this recording. It's absolutely fantastic. She was unique, really, really.
The audience was
so
wild.
impressive.
Yeah. So I worked with Yelenę very,
and what
very.
was the first role by Yelenę that you have heard, that you have seen?
Adriana in San Francisco. Yeah. But then she. Frankly, I don't remember what it was in San Francisco. Was it the Trovatore that year also? I don't remember actually.
Yes.
But anyway, then we met. And there we then became very, very close friends, and it was wonderful. She was having a very, very good time in New York.
Yes.
She had lots of fans and a whole circle of great friends. The interesting thing that first struck me so much over there was how, compared to many other singers with whom I'd been working, she was extraordinarily nervous before she was going on stage. Just boom, 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 boom. Really difficult with wig and makeup and costumes and all that. She was just like that. And so one day I asked her, why such excessive nerves? And she said, you know, it's almost like a fear of death. She said, because when I go out on that stage, I, Yelenę Obrazcową, cease to exist. And what then comes out is, you know, the Amneris or Asuchen or whatever. And it was interesting because she really became so tremendously involved in the roles. I forgot to mention Carmen, of course. She sang Carmen also to me extraordinarily well. And then of course I knew her. After that, I was on tour with her briefly in Miami and Philadelphia and so forth. Miami was very difficult because that was a time when the Jewish Defense League was anti-all Russians. And it was a time when Spivakov was playing at Carnegie Hall. Somebody came running down the middle aisle with a bag of pig's blood.
Told me, yes.
And so Yelenę had the same kind of problems when she was singing in Miami. There were a series of things. Somebody released a box of white mice, and the mice were running throughout the auditorium. Or somebody else had those pressure foghorns that moo, terribly loud stuff. But she, just sang this intensity. It was fantastic. Very courageous, very gutsy. I was always impressed by her tremendous personality, force of personality. When she was returning to then the Soviet Union, there were so many things that she would buy in America that were hard to get in Moscow, doorknobs or things for the house. So she'd go back with 20 suitcases and a cape. I gave her once a little gerbil. It's like a little animal. So she went on the airplane with somebody from the KGB was carrying her. She said, he's the head of the KGB. And he was running after her, like, very powerful lady. And, overweight, a tremendous character. Then I saw her in Milan several times, in London. We spent time together, so we became. And then she came to my dacha in Lake Placid. So we spent wonderful time cooking at the barbecue. She loved my mother loved her.
Did you speak Italian with her?
No, well, Russian actually.
Russian,
yeah.
oh,
She taught me Russian.
I see, fine. And you understand? Yeah?
Pretty well, yeah. Because I speak Polish, so it wasn't that hard.
I see. Yes.
So we had some marvelous years.
Yes. And afterwards, it is a rather hard time for such a great singer no more to sing the main roles, isn't it? Yeah. And how did you feel it with her? Was it really difficult for her? She was very intense in life too, not only on stage.
Well, that was a period where I really knew her less, because then I left the world of opera, and then I went and was running the Van Cliburn competition in New York, in Texas. So that's when we sort of lost contact a bit. We just had occasional contact. Then the next time I saw her was, well, here at the competition, 2001. That's when she began doing theater, I believe, quite a bit of theater. And then, of course, I invited her also to the Tchaikovsky jury in 2011 and spent more time with her there. She was difficult on that jury. I don't know if you heard.
Yes, I know.
Didn't agree with
people. Of course. Oh, yes. She was a great artist, and the artists are always difficult, isn't it? They are.
Some are more difficult than others.
Yes, of course. But what was the difficulty? What difficulty was it in her personality, in her behavior?
She was, I guess the word maybe is irascible. She had, when she had a very strong feeling, she didn't suffer other people's different opinions, and so she didn't respect other people's judgment when she when she had her own strong will. And so, even close friends like Scott and Kabaivanska and others who were on that jury, we were trying to keep her from walking out that one time. Which was, I then came, she was here at the hotel and I came and we had a long talk. She was naughty. She was very naughty. I think that's the way to put it.
Yes. It's a good word, yes.
She could be.
I understand, yes.
She was naughty in many ways in her life.
And as a director of the jury, she was insisting, she was hard, how to say it?
In that 2000, when she was here, at this competition, I don't really remember her being particularly. No, here she was much more fair, because at the Tchaikovsky, she was representing herself.
Yes,
I mean, it was,
I see.
But here she was representing a position, and so she was not influencing the jury members.
More diplomatic, so to
much
say.
more, She filled the role.
Yes, the roles, that is very well. Then on stage she is something else. Yes?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yes. And have you some stories, some little scenes? Please. That is the most interesting.
God.
Everybody is waiting.
Naughty stories. Okay, a naughty story.
Yes. You're welcome.
I just have to be careful to not use bad words.
I understand, yes.
She was she was very mischievous, and so she was teaching me, Russian quite a bit, and of course all the bad words naturally. But I never knew quite which words are really bad and which are not. So one day, this was in New York, she and I think Atlanta, Mazurek, some others, were singing concerts at the Russian consulate in the city. And I would usually go to those recitals. But once the Russian consulate had asked them to sing in was either Riverdale or New Rochelle, where the Russians also had a building, but that was the one with all the little satellite things, antennas, and it was their spy center in those days. So she was supposed to sing there, and I've been told that I was not allowed to go there because it was only for Russians. So she said, oh, listen, ask the consul at this next party, tell him that you don't understand, you know, spy things, and he will tell you, of course, that, no, of course we have nothing spy. When he says that to you, then you can tell him, don't lie to me. But the don't lie to me was a Russian phrase which was extremely impolite. But I didn't know how impolite it was. So, and I meet, it was a very, very elegant Russian consul, Nishko was his name, I think. Very, very elegant man. And so I said, you know, I really would love to go to the concert that you have at your place in New Rochelle, but I understand you have spy equipment there. He said, no, we don't have any spy equipment. So I said, well, Elena told me, and then I used that phrase to him. And he turned red, and then blue, and then purple. Nobody had ever used that expression with him, you know. And then he burst out laughing. But that's the kind of thing Elena would, terrible.
Some more things.
More stories.
Yes, more stories.
I learned very much from her. There was one time, actually it's a very, very long story, but there was one time when two understudies were singing at the Met La Favorita, because the Pavarotti was supposed to sing and he had canceled, and the woman who sang La Favorita was also indisposed. And so I was hoping we would change opera, but I was overruled, and so we were doing Favorita with understudies. And I said to the administration, I'm sorry, I just can't be in the theater when this happens. I just think it's such a mistake, and these people are going to be suffering having to go on stage, you know, realizing that they're just substitutes. So I went over to Yelene's apartment at the Navarro Hotel, and she said to me, you know, they're not suffering because they think they're good, and this is their great opportunity. And you must not feel bad for them because they are happy, you know. Singers never realize quite how bad they are, otherwise they wouldn't go on stage. So she gave me the courage to go back, and I did go back, and you know, it all ended up okay.
Yes.
But her...
And it was success?
No, it was...
It was okay.
It was okay. It passed. It was not a disaster. But her... She had a good understanding of,
yes.
you know,
yes.
Really.
She had a good understanding of human beings.
Oh, yeah,
The first minute when she saw a person, she understood everything about
Yes.
the person. That I had many occasions of that.
Yeah.
She whispered, "It's not a nice person."
Yeah.
And so on. That was many times.
Very good instinct.
Yeah.
I have some wonderful cassettes of her when she would come over to the house with my mother, and she would have, you know, a little bit to drink, and she would begin to sit down at the piano and "À quel dîner je viens de faire," you know, those guys. And she was just
Yes,
one song after another, and then she would just belt, you know, with that big, heavy voice all of her other songs. Fabulous tapes. Yeah. We had so much fun. Yeah. And I love the way that she enjoyed Pavarotti very much, and Pavarotti loved her.
Yes.
He would always say, "Yati via blue, 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 blue."
Yes.
She loved that too. I was just looking at some photographs I was at her, she invited me and my daughter to her dacha for New Year's Eve last 2011, I guess it was. Yeah. And all the, we had so much fun at the dacha. She had various friends. Makfala was there, and I think Makfala was the only person I really knew. There were all these people. Who are these people? You know, she collected people, you know, like that.
For the birthdays, the house is always full of
people. All kinds of people who loved her. The thing that, of course, I most remember about her is this extraordinary personality, this persona. I mean, it was just, you know, to be in her presence, you know.
And was she Russian in your understanding? What is Russian? Was she a Russian singer or no?
Yes.
Yes. Why so?
Russian, I think, maybe through that kind of warmth and intensity and a kind of this dusha that was somehow coming across, and also the color of the voice. I mean, it was not.
It is rather Slavic, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And that would have been the only reservation that I think that may have existed a little bit at the beginning, but. It was not, you know, it was not a cosotto sound, an Italian sound. It was a very particular Russian sound, yeah. And so certain roles. I mean, she filled certain roles fantastically, the Cavalleries and whatnot. I was sitting, by the way, with her in Milan at a dinner after a performance of Ballo. Muti was conducting it. And she was sitting at this dinner next to Zeffirelli. This was before she went to Vienna for the Carmens. And so he said to her, you know, the kind of Carmen I want you to be is the kind of Carmen, and he grabbed her arm, and he bit her arm, and she had these big teeth marks. She looked at Zeffirelli, I mean, he just really bit her. And it lasted for a few days, those bite marks, yeah. And, you know, I don't know how it came off because I did not see. Well, I did see the Carmen on the video.
Yes, I've seen it. Video too. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Those are just off the top of my head, a few memories of
Yeah.
Yelena.
That was fine. Thank you.
Great.